All right, hey guys, McKinnis back here. Lesson 2, Flipped Classroom in Advanced Web Design. A couple of things to look forward to in this lesson. We're obviously heading in the direction of changing the title and headings of the page that we created in Lesson 1. You also are going to get a chance to meet one of my good little friends. He's going to pop in every now and again throughout the course of these flipped classrooms. He may even show up on the smartboarding class occasionally. And I'm kind of looking forward to introducing him. So it should be kind of a fun little time. So let's get rolling here. And we're off. Okay, the objectives for class for this particular lesson. We're going to set the page title in Dreamweaver. And after we set the page title, then we're going to change the heading and the settings of the heading. And in the design view, so there's all sorts of views that go on that you can render in Dreamweaver. Now let's take just a little bit of time. I know we might have covered this in class, but let's just briefly go over that again. I'm going to go ahead and open up Dreamweaver here. And I'm going to open up the file that we worked on. And all of you should have a file that you worked on. We called it Lesson 1, remember, with your initials, first and last name initials. And it's in your Dreamweaver initials root folder. So let's go ahead and open up that. And let's talk a little bit about the views that Dreamweaver uses or are optional for you to use in class. First of all, you're going to open it up, and it's always probably going to be by default unless you've changed it somewhere along the way. It's going to be in Design View, which you see is right here, right? And Design View basically shows you the page as if it were in a browser, or if you don't know what a browser is, I suggest you look it up, but Internet Explorer, Firefox, Google, Chrome, all that stuff, all that kind of good jazz are browsers. So that is the design view. What's really cool also about the design view is that it lets you basically type in or make changes on the spot without code in design view. You notice that we have lots of Swedish going on the page here. That's done on purpose. So anyways, that's the design view. Then we have the code view. So if you come up here to code, and you click on code, what does this look familiar to? I mean, what would we call this? I'm thinking that maybe we might call this HTML coding. We talked about this first semester. There's also some CSS coding involved here. But this is where you would go if you wanted to make changes to the coding. And you would click on that code view. So after that, you're going to have code and design view. Basically what we call the split view. So now we can have the screen, which is really cool if you're not familiar with coding. This is a great way to learn. If you click on the heading here, you'll notice that my mouse or my index up here, I'm on header, and it moves every time I make a change in the design view. So you can see exactly where that code is within your document, which I think is a pretty cool element to Dreamweaver. And then we have live view. And live view basically is a page in a live browser. So when you click this, it's gonna show you what your page is gonna look like in a live browser. Okay, and you can watch it in live view in various settings. You can just go straight to design. You can see it in code or design view here. We don't want to work necessarily in live view all the time because it makes some changes that we don't want to have to deal with down the road. So stay out of live view unless indicated in the class. So we've already talked about it, but here are the views. The design view renders the page. Code view displays pages of the source code, HTML, CSS. Code and design view, what we call the split. And then live view renders a page in live browser. And you notice that I've highlighted live browser in gold. And I would encourage you to do a little bit more exploration on what a live browser is. All right, so I said earlier that we might have a chance to meet somebody today. His name is Paul, and he's a good guy. He's a good friend of mine. In fact, he's strikingly similar in looks. But he's going to stop in on occasion just to kind of help us through the process. So here we have Paul. Hey, Paul.
Hello, everyone. Occasionally I will be stopping by to inject my 2 cents on a particular topic in DW. Typically Mr. McInnes will ask me to explain steps or introduce something in class. Don't be afraid, I am harmless but knowledgeable and good-looking. See you down the road.
Hey, Paul, see you down the road. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. You are a handsome, good-looking devil, that's for sure, without a doubt. So thanks for stopping by, Paul. Appreciate it. So back to our lesson here. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about modifying the headings and the title. Now, remember I mentioned earlier we probably should be opening up the file that we created in lesson 1, which I have here. And I'm going to shrink it down again like I did in the previous lesson, just so you can kind of get an understanding while also seeing it on the screen. So page titles are one of the key elements used by search engines. So if you want your search engine to show up in a browser, one of the key elements is the page title. And it is important always to change the default page title from untitled document to a phrase that describes your web page. So in this case, up here is where the default setting is, and you can see I'll blow this back up, and we'll come back to the PowerPoint here after a bit. So up at the top, you'll see where it is. Where it says untitled document, and that's the default for the page. Okay, we want to give this page a title. Is this page your about page, a contact page? What is it? In terms of your website? Okay, so we're going to click on the button to view it. Excuse me, to view it in design view. If you haven't already done that, we have already. We've clicked on design, and we're over already to the untitled document. Okay, in this case, all you have to do, which is nice about Dreamweaver, in order to title this page, we're just going to title this about avatars. Okay, we'll make this particular website about avatars, and this page is about avatars in class. So we'll say avatars in class. All right, we have that. So we've typed the name, and then we're just going to press enter. So we're just going to hit the enter key, and all of a sudden it shifts us right down into our document. Our title is now set about avatars in class. Okay, does everybody understand that? All right, well, that's great. I'm glad you do. If you have any questions, please write them down and bring them to class, or shoot me a message through Edmodo, and I certainly will try to answer your questions as they come up. So we've already gone through all the steps here in terms of modifying the title. So let's talk a little bit about place headings. And I believe that Paul is back to talk a little bit about place headings.
As easily as you change the heading text, or you can enter text manually. DW provides a robust engine for inserting text copied from other sources such as Microsoft Office, while retaining as much of the formatting as you desire.
So what's really cool is that you can change text, including headings, and Dreamweaver or DW, and thanks, Paul, again for interjecting your little piece of information there. We'll talk with you guys later. Anyways, Dreamweaver does a great job of making things simple for you, and changing the headings is definitely one of those things that Dreamweaver does that makes it fairly simple and less stressful on anybody. So we're going to double click on the placeholder text header to select it, and then we're gonna type a heading. Okay, so that's where we're going. So let's pull up our file again, header. And we can double click to select it, or the old school word processing way, we can drag and highlight, right? And then we're just going to type a header. I'm going to title this Avatars in Class. Now, you can copy what I'm doing for the sake of the lesson, or you can come up with something on your own. Remember, creativity is always big in my classroom. So if you're going to be creative, be creative. If not, just for the sake of the lesson, feel free to just follow along on what I'm doing here. Okay? So we'll go back here. There are a number of ways. We've already talked about that in terms of the heading. So now we're going to select heading 1 and type, "You have fun, we do the work." Okay? So back into heading 1, which would be this main content, would be heading 1. Okay? How do I know that? If I look down here in the tagline, I see that when I've clicked on this, I'm on heading 1. When I click down here, I'm heading 2. So anytime I've highlighted this, I'm heading 2. I'm up here heading 1. You guys see that? So now we're going to type in, the phrase, "You have fun." You have fun. If I can get my fingers right. You have fun. We do the work. Okay? And then I want you to choose File, and I want you to save this. All right? Fair enough. Seems simple enough. So that basically is our lesson in terms of changing text and headings and setting the title. So if you have any questions, again, write them down or shoot them to me in Edmodo. I'll feel free to answer them as best as I can. And here's to seeing you for lesson 3. Thanks.